All right, Tom, this is for you. Here we go. Look.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin'
Latte.
Donuts, first thing in the morning. See this? Here's Gorham, New Hampshire. Come on, baby. Gorham, New Hampshire.
Road conditions are fine.
The 24th of July. Starting our 22-day section to finish with the summiting of Katahdin on or about the 15th of August, right, baby?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But between now and then, coffee time. Okay, so this morning, Random and I got some things done that we needed to get done. You saw we got a little coffee while doing that. Got a hitch out to the trailhead where I had gotten off, coming down off of Carter's Mountain. And now we had to do a little bit of a road walk. You do a road walk up there, Route 2 across from Rattle River Hostel, and then keep going down that road, and then you get on a little dirt road for a bit. And now we're just coming onto, what I consider the actual trail up in the woods. Watch yourself there. So now we have a climb. I think it's about 1,700 feet, but it's not actually that steep. So that'll warm us up. Not a bad start after, 9 days, 9 zeros. But family has to come first. So now it's just time to focus. There's a shelter in like 12 or 13 we could get off at. 16 is the main border. And then there's, I think, a campsite at like 16 and a half. So we'll just play it by ear. Maybe we'll get into Maine today. Maybe we won't. Here we are, just about near the summit of the first climb out of Route 2 here in New Hampshire.
Got a little turned around back there.
On the rocks?
Yeah.
So I meant to tell you, those rock piles, the cairns, they take the place of the blazes.
Oh, this was at the very top. Is
So
this
here
the
you
summit?
come. Yep, it's sort of the...
Nothing like the first day summit with the heavy bag.
Right, that first day with a heavy bag is truly special. Okay, so here's the Mahoosuc Trail, which is also the AT. And that Gentain Pond campsite is also a shelter site, which is basically 5 miles away. That would be 13 miles for us today. And this will be your decision point about whether we go 13 or continue on, get into Maine, which is at 16. You can see that it's not an easy 5 miles. This has been pretty harsh downhill, rocky, and the uphill was pretty steep, as you saw in other places. So here we go. So this is called Page Pond.
Okay.
And you can see the trail is just barely carved out of the bushes here. But there's enough evidence to tell you that, in fact, it is the trail. I believe that was Fawzy who wrote Balancing on Blue, his AT hike adventure. He also wrote The Last Englishman about his PCT through-hike. And he categorized these boards. And that one, I believe, he called a sinker. For obvious reasons. It was pretty entertaining. Ugh. Okay, I've jabbered at you too much. Thought I'd show you what I mean. You can see the sort of trail we've been on, although usually it's a lot muddier and deeper. It has been really, but you see that open sky? All of a sudden it just sort of breaks open out there. Yeah, you guys know what that is. In this instance, I believe it's the pond, because we're about 1.5 miles from that pond shelter, which supposedly overlooks the pond. So obviously, as it would be the natural guess, I don't really know. Sometimes it'll fool you, and there'll be some meadow or something. But look at this. This is what we've been dealing with. It's been raining really hard for a solid 3 days or so, maybe 4, and it's supposed to continue this week. We're feeling the effects of the evening storms about to come. Quite a bit of wind, temperature dropped. Yeah, so we're gonna have some evening storms here. And then tomorrow it's supposed to rain. Hopefully it doesn't, because that's Mahoosic Notch, the so-called hardest mile on the AT. It would sort of suck in the rain. I know that because it's all rock, obviously. But if it does, it does. I mean, we really can't afford to take a 0 at the shelter waiting for the next day, which may or may not be clear, because now, for the first time, we are actually on a deadline. 22 days to complete Maine, which was I believe 293. Well, that's not true. 293 from Route 2 in New Hampshire, which is, I believe, 16 from the Maine border. So you can do the math what Maine's supposed to be. So we're like 3/10 away from the shelter. And we're coming down this godforsaken ascent, or descent. Of course, the rocks are like ice because of all the rain and the moisture on them. I go sliding down a fucking rock. First day with new poles, snapped in fucking half. So now I get to do the next 3 days with one fucking pole. I did 1 day with one pole, coming down to Pinkham Notch, and never got above 1 mile an hour. So the AT goes this way.
Okay. And then where do you think the shelter is?
And the shelter still 0.2 this way. Uphill. But this ain't bad. This ain't bad. Lots of footholds. You can see the pond. Oh, look at the beaver house right in the middle. I don't know if you can see that from the camera, but now the only problem with this location is that is stagnant water. And you know what stagnant water breeds? So we'll have to, this is why I get dry, low-level DEET bug spray, because I can spray it inside the vestibule or over my hammock and not eat up the nylon, but have it so that it's not got that greasy coating of crap all over it. So worked pretty well with the hammock. I'm sure it'll work fine with the tent as well. Okay. All right, so pretty nice view from the shelter, I'd say that. What's up, everybody? How are things? So that's what you got. All right, guys, I'll be back at you.